This episode is absolutely insane. We got Tabitha mind-bending return to Fromville, Boyd's dangerous monster-catching plan, and some seriously creepy forest encounters. In this video, we're about to break down all the craziest moments, explain that wild ending, and dive into some mind-melting theories. Because how is it possible there's so much similarities between Miranda and Tabitha? My name is Christian from Beyond Premiere. Welcome and let's begin.
Oh my god.
Let's begin with Jim's storyline because it's from in its most insane and absolute cruelest moment. That phone call from Thomas is not just creepy, it's downright evil. The town is messing with Jim's head in the worst way possible, hitting him where it hurts the most. His grief over Thomas. We already know the story of his past and how Tabitha and him wanted one last hurrah, but they arrived into the town. Remember what Julie said in the last episode? Thomas died, you and mom fell apart, and there was no one there for Eden. It's like the show is hammering home how one tragedy can tear a family apart, and now the town is using that pain against Jim. It's seriously messed up and so sad. We know that this call is not really Thomas, it's the town, that freaking nightmare entity, playing mind games with Jim's deepest fears. Those questions, why did you let mommy go? Why do you want her to die?
That's hurtful.
They're not just creepy, they're designed to break Jim down completely. It's psychological warfare. And you know what's really twisted? The way Thomas tries to manipulate Jim into being a better father. It's like the town is showing him this messed up chance at redemption in front of Jim, but at what cost? When Jim runs outside, frantically and scared searching for Julie and Eden, it's from showing us how the town can make you act crazy even when you know better. It's seriously unsettling stuff and a great way to start the episode. So it's taking Jim's grief, his guilt, his fear, and weaponizing them. This is something that we're seeing with all the characters this season, including Fatima when she was talking with Tilly. And yes, we have seen this before in other characters as well. And in my opinion, it's the way for the town to feed on its residents. It's showing us how grief can blind you to danger, how it can make you vulnerable. And you know what? I'm both terrified and fascinated to see where this is going in this episode and upcoming ones. But let's move into that scene where Jim rushes outside looking for his kids. It's from at his absolute best. Jim just had that creepy phone call with Thomas and you can see it's totally throw him off balance. He's not thinking straight at all. The way Jim searched for Julie and Ethan is like he's trapped in his own personal nightmare. You can practically feel the fear radiating off him, kicked into overdrive. And then there's Boyd with that bell. Talk about tension. It's like a constant reminder of that danger is always there, closing in. The way Boyd asks if Jim's okay is not just concern, it's from subtly showing us the power dynamics at play here. Jim responds, it's clear he's trying to keep it together, but he's falling big time. The panic in his voice, the way he's acting, is a red flag that something is seriously wrong. And that exchange between Jim and Boyd, the town evil is closing in, going from the trailer where we see Randall being surrounded. But what do you guys think? Is Jim going to be able to protect his family, or is the town going to break him? But let's dive into Tabitha while right because things are getting seriously intense. So she's at Victor's dad's place, and guys, she's not just looking for answers, she's obsessed. She's going through those paintings like a detective on Red Bull, and I'm telling you, she's this close to a full-on breakdown. And then bam, she cuts herself on some random piece of glass, reminding us how fragile Tabitha mentally is right now. One wrong move and she could totally lose it. Henry's watching all this go down and you can see the wheels turning on his head. Is Tabitha telling the reality or the truth, or is she just another victim of from mind games? That question about the boy in white pushing her up the lighthouse is like a test, and Tabitha's not falling it for this time. Well, she fall, but But let's talk about those kids in the tower Tabitha keeps mentioning. It's a huge connection to Miranda's story and all the deepest, darkest secrets of From. It's like we're putting together a seriously messed up puzzle. And that moment when Tabitha hears the bottles outside, this is huge. Even in the real world, the town influence is everywhere. Those bottles are like whispers, and Tabitha's starting to tune in, starting to find answers. But this is where Tabitha's quest takes a seriously and unexpected and dangerous turn. Miranda did the bottle tree, I imagine, because she was trying to get into From. We know that he said, this being Henry said that Miranda was having dreams of the kids and went there, and then they disappeared. This connects to what we see here, that she built actually 2 bottle trees. Why are the bottle trees important? Why do they have numbers? And what is the difference between a faraway tree together? It's so many questions. But before Tabitha's journey, let's talk about Victor for a second because things are getting seriously weird. We got those quick shots of him in the trailer that they will provide answers, but we see him digging up following some seriously mysterious map. I'm betting this is just more than a way than just X marks the spot. This could be Victor's ticket to unlocking his past, or maybe even a guide to those freaky things only he can see. Remember, this is the guy who has been having visions of the boy in white and making those drawings for a long time. He's got a major connection to the town's history, and I want to know more. The really interesting part is Victor flying solo on this one. No Tabitha, no other townies, it's just him and his shovel. So what is he after? Could it be something physical like those weird artifacts in the tunnels, or is it something we cannot see? A lost memory, a hidden message, or even the key to understanding why he's so tied to Fromville's mysteries. This storyline is packed with potential. Hopefully in the next episode we see him with Sarah, so we may possibly get answers. Is it going to help the town or unleash something even creepier? But we need to talk about Boyd's plan because it's absolutely insane. So we know going from the last episode that he wants to capture one of them. In this one he's at the sheriff's station and he drops this bombshell idea to catch one of those monsters using those talismans as they keep the creatures out. Boyd's thinking, hey, maybe we can use them to keep a monster in. It's crazy, it's dangerous, and it's so totally Boyd. Ellis is like, whoa, slow down there, cowboy. He's reminding Boyd about that disaster in the woods last season. You know, the one where Boyd almost died. But Boyd is in full on, we gotta do something mode. He's not just grieving for Tian-Chan anymore. This guy's on a path to revenge. Then Donna walks in and bam, you can cut the tension with a knife. It's like From is showing us this power struggle between Boyd and Donna, and I'm here for it. Donna's not pulling any punches, hinting Boyd with that killer sarcasm. You gotta make it talk? What? You're gonna torture it? She's basically calling Boyd's plan what it is, total BS. But Boyd says, according to Christy, they were human at some point. Like, what? And when Donna says she doesn't want to watch Boyd get killed over some half-baked dumb plan, it's not just about Boyd, it's about the whole town losing hope. And I feel this plan is a huge gamble. It's like the town is one of those big mousetrap and Boyd's walking right into it. So the reverse of what he wants to do. I'm both terrified and super excited to see how this plays out. But what do you guys think? Is Boyd's plan going to work or is it going to blow up in his face? Going from the trailer for the next episode, it's not gonna work. But let's talk about Fatima's pregnancy because things are getting seriously freaky. That scene at Colony House, major red flags. When someone jokes about the baby not being a meat eater, it's not just small talk. This is From, where every little detail could be a clue to something way darker. Are we seeing some kind of monstrous pregnancy? I'm getting some serious Rosemary's Baby vibes here. But the real thing is Fatima outside with those rotten crops. I mean, what the actual heck? She's not just hungry, she's drawn into this nasty, decaying food. It's giving major Amiona vibes. You know, that creepy Japanese legend about the rain woman who steals kids. The way Fatima's acting is like she's tapping to some primal animalistic instinct. And Tilly watching her, is Fatima's baby connected to the lady in the kimono? So many questions and they're all freaking me out. So here's what I think. Fatima's not turning into a monster. However, what's inside her is consuming her. And I think Fatima has a Kenkai, and that lady in the kimono is the other mother. So Fatima is the surrogate mother. Hey, you have my baby because I cannot provide food to that baby. So maybe... because we need to talk about that scene at Jim's house as well. Because we can see how Jim's trying to play Mr. Normal, making dinner and all, but you can see how he's barely holding it together. The grief is practically pushing him out of himself. And then there's Ethan, bless his little heart, dropping those bomb questions like, who's gonna bury mom? Talk about a sucker punch to the feels. It's From reminding us, hey, remember how messed up this town really is. Jim's trying to be the super dad, shielding Ethan from the harsh reality. But man, he's falling big time. And when he loses it and swipe those cooking stuff, that's pure frustration and helplessness right there. It's a painful scene to watch, but that's what makes From so dang good. And Julie, she's not making things any easier with her comments. That parent of the year line, ouch, showing us how this nightmare town can tear families apart faster than you can say creepy monsters. But the real kicker, that phone ringing again. Thomas calling back is like the nightmare entity is twisting the knife. Is the town playing mind games? And is seriously messed up. But let's shift gear to our search party in the woods. Kenny, Christy, Jade, and Dale, and the two other residents go there to find the food. Those creepy statues they find, pure nightmare fuel. Those reaction is all of us, well that's terrifying, and you said it buddy. And Christy wondering if people actually live out there. It's like they stumble upon some ancient, cursed ground. Jade's theory about the statues being used as a talisman is super interesting. Maybe the people who came before were trying to protect themselves from the same evil that's haunting the town. But this is From, and I'm betting the real thing is way more twisted than we can imagine. What if those statues are not protection but some kind of beacon for the monsters? The possibilities are endless and terrifying. And let's give a shout out to Kenny trying to keep everyone focused on finding food, but even him starting to feel the creep factor of this place. But let's move into that conversation between Tabitha and Henry. The way Tabitha's connecting the dots between the Fromville and the real world. It's like watching a master detective at work. If that detective was in a Salvador Dali painting. But that bottle tree revelation is not just a light bulb moment. It's like the town just dropped a nuclear bomb of weirdness on us. And get this, the original tree is in the park where Henry and Miranda dropped a special medication. Come on, this is not just a coincidence. The town influence is everywhere, slipping into reality like some kind of interdimensional mold. This is how Miranda got her visions. This episode and beyond is setting us up for some major revelations. We got the evil pregnancies, the creepy forest, artifacts, and reality-bending trees. Now let's move into Boyd because holy cow, this guy is on a one-way trip, crazy town. That singing in the church, at its most psychologically twisted, Boyd's chatting with Father Catherie's ghost, and it's like watching a man's sanity unravel in real time. The guilt, the anger, the failure, it's all eating away at him like acid. And Father Catherine, well, even as a ghost, he's throwing some shade like a pro. That line about the monsters wanting to break Boyd to change him, pure chills. It's not just about killing anymore. It's about corruption. But then we get that powerful moment with the memory board. It's like Boyd's trying to anchor himself to reality, to remember the human cost of this nightmare. It's a beautiful, heart-wrenching scene that reminds us of why we care about these characters so much. But let's connect some dots here. Boyd's desperate plan to catch a monster, I don't think it's about answers. It's all about redemption. He cannot save Tianqin. He cannot save Father Catherine. But maybe, just maybe, he can save the town. But at what cost? I got a feeling this plan is going to backfire, and it might be just the thing that pushed Boyd over the edge or not happen at all. But speaking of edges, let's talk about Tabitha's journey because it's messing with my head. That moment in the car with Henry when Blue starts playing. It's like the town is reaching across dimensions to mess with Tabitha. But here's my crazy theory. What if Miranda and Tabitha are somehow connected? Like an alternate reality versions of each other or something. The way their stories are connecting and mirroring each other and not be a coincidence. This show doesn't do coincidence. I have a reincarnation theory that I may do in a separate video, but what if when you die, you're reborn into another person, like maybe Miranda? But their connection is one of the biggest mysteries this season. How can these two women, separate by time and circumstance, share so many similarities? It's like the writers are messing with our heads deliberately. Miranda had those creepy dreams before arriving in From, those visions of the children, the tower. Miranda have the same bracelet and Tabitha find this and they have a story. They even share a favorite song, Blue by Johnny. Is it too much to be a coincidence? So how is this even possible? Here's what I'm thinking. What if they're somehow the same person? I know, it sounds crazy, but this is From where the impossible happens every single episode. Is Tabitha a time traveling Eloise? Maybe somehow sent back to the past, her memories altered. Are we dealing with the alternate version of realities, different versions of the same soul living out unparalleled lives? Or it could be something even more supernatural like reincarnation. What if the town's entity, that nightmare we keep talking about, is recycling souls, trapping them in this endless cycle of hope and despair? Let's look at the evidence. Remember how Tabitha found that bracelet in the diner, the one she made for Jim? He said it was impossible. And you know what? We've all felt the same way. But here it is, again, in that car with Henry's favorite song. Well, Miranda's favorite song. It's Tabitha's shock, weird shock. And it's a gut punch of a scene. A reminder of everything she's lost. How could Miranda know that song? And now, I mean, it's a song, but it so many similarities. It's like the town itself maybe is mocking Tabitha, maybe using those shared memories to keep her trapped. It's like Tabitha and Miranda are tapping into the same source. We know all of the characters are selected, but Tabitha is being selected for a specific role in the town twisted game, a role she doesn't yet understand.
Reason that people get to that tree in the road and realize they can't get past it.
But what do you guys think? Are Tabitha and Miranda connected by something more than just coincidence? Are they two sides of the same coin? Or is this all part of the nightmare's grand design? Let me know in the comments below. And then when Tabitha goes into this chaos of trying to understand how maybe all of it is fake, boom, a car accident. And that ambulance scene at the end, pure psychological horror and beautiful. It's like watching someone realize they're in a nightmare again, that they cannot wake up. But From is not done with her yet, not by a long shot. I'm betting her return is going to shake things up in a major way. Maybe she will be the key to understanding the town through nature. So what's happening with Jade and all the Forest expedition? Well, it's like watching a horror movie play out, where you know something bad is about to happen and you cannot look away. Well, it happens. Jade has vision of this pilgrim and wants to go back into the town. Then Chrissy gets caught in that bear trap, and then boom, Jade is seeing a pilgrim drinking blood from a skull. And that really got me intrigued. Could this be a clue to the town's origins? I did a theory on this, so maybe some kind of ancient ritual that created the nightmare in the first place, or the monsters. But alright, let's dive into that powerful scene with Backta, Ethan, and Boyd at the diner. A lot of you were asking where Backta was, and here she is. We open on Ethan, this poor kid who's been through hell, cleaning the diner. It's heartbreaking watching this child try to maintain some sense of normalcy, some connection to the town and the people he lost. When Boyd walks in, you can feel the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. The way he interacts with Ethan, that gentle encouragement. It's clear he's trying to be the rock everyone needs. But then we get to the real point of the scene. Backta opens up about her struggles, and it's like watching someone's worldview in the series. She's dealing with this insane reality where nursery rhythms from her childhood are somehow tied to the horrors of Fromville. How is messing with your entire self? And Boyd's response, he's trying so hard to be the voice of hope. But here comes Ethan saying, what if there's not an escape? Oh my god. You know, everyone wants to ask those questions, but hearing it from Ethan was an incredible turning point. And let's not forget about Victor and Sarah teaming up. The two has always been on the beginning of the main action, and here they are again, together. What they're gonna find, I cannot wait to see. Maybe they might just find something that everyone else has been missing. But that's episode 3. Let's go ahead and discuss the information on episode 4, which is titled There and Back Again.
Too many things are changing here. It's never snowed here before.
Why can't they leave us alone?
I have to remember. Everybody just talks about how afraid they are of dying. Well, I don't think that's the worst thing that can happen to you here.
Remember what?
What's missing?
You looking for these? You can't save them all.
So yes, we know that it shows a classic hero's journey, and Tabitha's return is the most obvious centerpiece. A trip back to the Fromville nightmare she thought she left behind. But we know that this homecoming is not gonna be easy. The synopsis teases Boyd's choice when the nightfall brings unexpected arrivals. Here's where it gets juicy. That ambulance crew from her accident, Fromville would not let her go quietly, would they? There and Back Again perfectly foreshadows this clash. Meanwhile, Victor's exploring into his past, a pivotal moment in this episode. Remember those childhood drawings? Perhaps they even reveal a hidden location, a specific faraway tree, or even an ancient ritual tied to the Fromville's dark origins. So I cannot wait for episode 4. It feels like the center of the storm. Tabitha's return, Boyd's struggle for leadership, and now Victor's quest. We know Tabitha's returning, Henry's gonna be back as well. And also, what is going to be that meeting between Victor and Henry? I cannot wait for that. Episode 3 set up a major cliffhanger. We see Randall in the RV and something's definitely up. He's having those weird hallucinations, those cicadas around his head. It's like whatever happened with that music box in season 2 is still messing with him. Remember how Julie and Mariel were trapped in that nightmare? Well, it looks like Randall is experiencing something similar. That pain of the town power is still affecting him. And then Boyd shows up. He wants to switch places with Randall to spend the night in the bus. Now, why will he do that? I want to watch our friends when they come out of the woods tonight. See what they're up to. It's like he's not just observing, he's testing them. He's setting a trap, and it's another example of how Boyd's judgment is clouded, how his desperation to understand the town's mysteries is pushing him down a dangerous path. And you know what's really exciting about this? The next episode is when Tabitha returns. Imagine Boyd's reaction when he sees that ambulance pull into town. With Tabitha inside, it's going to be a breaking point of storylines. I cannot wait to see how this plays out. Now, I have a theory I will do a separate video, but it's reincarnation, and the more I see the show, the more it makes sense. So let's talk about Randall's Move website, because it's one of the creepiest and most mind-bending elements of From. If you go to the website right now, you can find a lot of the Easter eggs like the dates and this weird image of. So it's a real-world website for a fictional moving company, and you know what? It's got secrets and is connected to Fromville in ways we didn't even knew and expected. It got the same years in its code, the same years that are carved into that lighthouse in Tabitha's dream. It's like the writers are messing with us. And hey, there's a huge clue about the reincarnation theory, because I think that those hidden codes on the website could be a huge clue. What if those years are birth dates of dead or dead dates of people caught in Fromville endless cycle? It's like a digital graveyard, a record of those lost souls who's been reborn time and time again into this nightmare. And the sigma function, well, that mathematical symbol, it's not just a random detail, it's like an equation, maybe a way to calculate the cycles and those patterns of death and when they're reborn. It makes you wonder if someone out there, someone who understands the town's power, is trying to send us a message, a warning. And that something went wrong message on the website is so weird and creepy as hell. It's like the town itself is trying to block us, to keep its secrets hidden. This website is a rabbit hole, well actually the two websites. Now if Miranda died in 1978, where Christopher Massacre happened, when Victor was around 10, maybe 11, and Tabitha was born shortly after, it has another point to that reincarnation theory. It's like From is giving us those little hints, those whispers of a connection that's deeper than just a shared dream or nightmare. I think the idea of Tabitha being Miranda reborn is so amazing, and I would love this if it's true. And if we're going down this rabbit hole, well, maybe Christopher is Jade in now. It could explain Jade's own obsession and the way he sees those visions. It's like the souls are trapped in this endless cycle, repeating the same patterns, drawn to the same darkness. How does this connect to those numbers on the Randall's Move website, to those years in the lighthouse? I will do a separate video on this reincarnation theory because there's a lot of clues that this is true. But hey, if you're loving this breakdowns into From world, don't forget to subscribe, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. This show is just getting started, and it's going to be one hell of a ride. Realm is watching and is hungry for more. On description from being premiere, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.